Good morning, aficionados. It's Alex with TDM Cigars, bringing you another tidbit of the day. So I went over a cigar cutting video a couple days ago, and I realized that I had already cut the cigar prior to making the video. It was kind of a spur of the moment, like, ooh, I should probably make a video about this. You're gonna see a ton of how to cut a cigar, how to light a cigar. My biggest thing to tell everybody is cut it and light it which way makes you feel more comfortable. Understand that you should know the dynamics of each cut and how the cigar is lit every single time, because if you light it with a match versus a cedar spill versus a soft flame lighter versus a torch, it's gonna make the cigar tell a completely different story every single time. Not to mention the fact that if you use a punch cutter versus a guillotine versus a V cutter, or you just peel back the cap here, or you just like a Neanderthal and you spit it out, you know, it's going to change the dynamic of the cigar. Well, what does that mean? So each cutter will increase or limit the amount of airflow, right? And depending on what style flame you use, it's going to light that cigar with a different temperature. Torch lighters, I'm going to tell you, start at 1400 to 1500 degrees. They start, okay? That's very, very hot. That's why they always tell you, if you're going to light the cigar, have a significant distance away, because you're superheating the air. You don't want the actual flame to touch. When you're using a match, cedar spill, or soft flame, the flame obviously is a little bit closer because the heat is not as intense, and again, you're still trying to superheat the air, not necessarily touch the flame to the cigar. It does happen. The flame is going to touch regardless, but you know, you want to try to limit that interaction, and it takes a little bit longer. So choose what you choose. We're going to go over a specific type of cutters today, just a quick little 2 to 3 minute video. And just want to go over a couple things. You have the bullet punch. I carry a little bag with me that has a bunch of cutters and lighters and stuff. You have the bullet style. Just bear with me here, and apparently this is going to be longer than a 3-minute video, so just bear with me. So you have your bullet style cutter. All right, this actually came from, I believe, the Vietnam War or World War II. I'm not 100% sure. The GIs used to carry 45 caliber rounds or 9mm rounds, and they would hollow it, take out all the gunpowder and make sure that the edges were sharp and all that kind of stuff, and they would actually punch their cigars out in the field. So that's where something like that actually came from. Now I have here a V cutter. Okay, it's not too much of a deep V, but you know, I have a V cutter. And then I have my standard guillotine cutter. Okay, it's dual-sided guillotine. You have single-sided guillotine as well. I have, now this was a gift from my wife. It was an anniversary gift. We have dubbed this thing the Precious. And the reason why is it's very expensive. I carry it with me wherever I go. I probably shouldn't, because I'm the type of guy that tends to lose a lot of things. However, this thing is near and dear to me. It's technically a perfect cutter, but it's from Red Horse Knife Works, German steel. You have the guard in the back here, so the cigar can't go all the way through. It cuts perfect every single time. And this back part here is a bottle cap opener. Okay, I'm not telling you what else this thing does. But I'm gonna tell you, it comes in pretty handy. So you know, it's a multi-range cutter, so fairly expensive, $200 plus. But if you manage to get yourself one, I'm gonna tell you, this thing is the bee's knees. With me as well, I carry a knife. That's not a knife. No, that's a knife. So that's where I tend to carry all my stuff with me. You know, I carry all kinds of knives and all that stuff. Hey, I'm Puerto Rican. What do you want? It's a joke, guys. So, you know, which way you want to cut it, which way you want to light it. I like the dual cutters, the ones that have V cutters, and you screw the little cap in the back and it turns into a bullet punch, because you know, sometimes that's how I'm feeling. Now let's talk about the differences. When you use a bullet punch, you're actually concentrating that airflow. What does that mean? The flavors become more concentrate. The airflow is actually dampened. It's a little bit harder of a draw. I like it because it does concentrate the flavors, and sometimes I want to take like a medium cigar and just make it feel like it's a little bit fuller. But here's the drawback. Because the airflow is so limited, you tend to get a bitter cigar after a while, because you know all the soot and all the tar and all that kind of stuff starts to concentrate on the head of the cigar where that little bullet punch is, and it tends to get a little bitter and you wind up spitting and all that kind of stuff. But one of the other reasons why I do like it is when you use a guillotine cut, sometimes you get all that, this is a technical term, guys, schmuckus. And you just cut it and it just goes all over the place. And you kind of wind up having to dust yourself off and all that kind of stuff. So depending on where I'm at, depending on what equipment I carry, I also carry a bullet punch on my car keys. So I always have a cutter with me. So, you know, if I tend not to have like a guillotine cutter or anything like that, I'll always have at least a bullet punch. And it's not the first time that I've actually, you know, I'll peel the head back and the cap off, and that's perfectly fine. V cutters. I like V cutters. Again, for me, it's the next step up from a bullet punch, because now your airflow is increased. You actually cut a little bit deeper into the head of the cigar, and you get still a little bit of a concentrated flavor, but you get more airflow. You limit the again, technical term, schmuckus, from getting yourself tobacco all over yourself, and you know that kind of deal. The tar buildup is still apparent. It's not as bad as the bullet punch, but it's still there. And then finally, you have your guillotine cutter or your straight cutter. My personal preference, if I'm gonna have a guillotine cutter, it's gotta be a dual-sided guillotine. What does that mean? Well, if you take a look at this thing, there's blades on both sides, okay? I like the dual guillotine because you have two cutting edges that go together. Now, here's the problem with the two-sided guillotine. If it's not sharp or well maintained, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have to maintain your cutters. It winds up squeezing the tobacco instead of cutting through them. Can you sharpen these? Yes. It's sometimes a little difficult. I use the Perfect Sharpener. It's available on Amazon. Take a look at it. And I'm able to sharpen these myself. If you are not able to sharpen them, luckily the majority of these can be tossed away and you can buy new ones. But the expensive ones, I mean, I have some cutters that are pretty gnarly expensive. I don't really use them because I'm a cheap guy. I like things that I can go ahead and destroy and not feel bad about destroying them, but I do maintain my equipment. So you really do have to. If you notice your guillotine cutter or any cutter sticking like this one, hot water and Dawn dish detergent will get everything right off. Now there's some front and back about, well, do you lube these things and whatever? Should you? Probably not. Can you? Yeah. The reason why you shouldn't is because any type of oil acts like glue. So whatever particulates come off the cigar, like cigar oils, the little bit of tobacco, all that kind of stuff, it's gonna stick a hell of a lot worse now, because you have some type of lubricant that's, you know, becomes sticky, and you know you can actually go ahead and, you know, ruin these things. If you are the type of person that has to have everything work extremely smooth, it has to be food grade mineral oil. It's tasteless, odorless, and you literally need not even a drop. I mean, like half a drop if you can do that. They make different size droppers, just so you guys are aware, the drop size. So if you're that type of person and you absolutely have to lube these things up because maybe you're arthritic and, you know, it's sticking too much even after you know, took care of it, food grade mineral oil. But I'm gonna tell you, it's got its goods and it's got its cons. You have to see both sides of it. But if you maintain these things, again, hot water. If it's not plastic, it has to be a metal one. The plastic ones will melt inside of a pot. Or you could just use warm water, again with a Dawn dish detergent. Agitate it. Get an old toothbrush. Scrub the crap out of it. But you have to make sure that it is dry. Get yourself one of those cans of compressed air, dry it all off, get all the water out, make sure it's completely dry. Because if not, again, most people have hard water, it's gonna stick, all right, and you're gonna have the same problem, or it may rust depending on the quality of these things. Today, I'm gonna go with a guillotine cut. I'm actually not gonna use this particular one. I'm going to use the Precious. And why am I gonna do that? Because I haven't used it in a while. And it's, it's kind of nice. It's a perfect cut. Now, oh God, do you lick or not lick? First of all, if it's your cigar and your cutter and you don't share anything, do whatever the hell you want. For the love of God, don't lick this whole thing up and down. First of all, you look ridiculous. Second of all, your saliva has enzymes in it, right? And it's gonna, you think you're moistening the cigar, you are for a small amount of time, but it's gonna slow your burn. It's gonna taste funky. Don't do it, all right? Just don't do it. That's the one thing that I find absolutely disgusting. But why do people lick the head of the cigar right before they cut it? Well, some cigars aren't stored properly, and the heads will crack. So, in everybody's infinite wisdom, they're like, and they lick the head of the cigar right before they cut it. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead. But please, 1, don't ever do that at a cigar shop with a community cutter. 2, don't ever do that if you plan on sharing your cutters. I have cutters in my bag that I share with because I don't do any of that stuff. But you can actually test the quality of either your humidor or your brick and mortar's humidor by whether or not the cap is dry. If the cap is dry, then that cigar was not stored at the proper humidity. You can expect the foot to be a little drier because it's open, but that cap is always more humidified than the foot, okay? So take it in. If you notice, it's actually a perfect cut right at the shoulders, straight across. No muss, no fuss, no mess. I got a little tear here, but that's perfectly fine. And this was stored at the proper humidity. So do a little cold draw. Yeah. This is the blend that I've been showing you guys that I've been working on for the last couple years. It's delicious. And I'm not a cigar snob. I'll smoke almost anything. But for me to say a cigar is box worthy, it's gotta be banging. I don't buy by the box. I usually buy by the single because I like trying things. If you see boxes of stuff inside my humidor, I've already vetted it. It's great. I feel that, yes, I'm a cigar retailer, so I get things wholesale, but prior to that, I'm willing to pay whatever the amount was for the actual box. And that I can't get enough of them. So can't wait to actually mass produce these things. But that's it. Just a little tidbit, before I head into work this morning on how to properly cut a cigar and, the pitfalls and the pros and the cons of, each individual cutting style. But again, it's up to you guys to figure out which one's the best for you. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. If that's what makes you comfortable, I'm going to tell you that you're going to do things that you're going to look ridiculous. However, if you don't feel ridiculous, you like how to do it, it makes you feel more comfortable, and it makes your cigar experience that more palatable, you go right ahead and you do that. Guys and gals, this is Alex with TDM Cigars, bidding you a wonderful morning. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Follow us on our socials at TDM Cigars. Also at our Instagram at Tabacalera del Monte. spelling that 10 times drunk. And don't forget to find us on Spotify. We actually took a lot of our videos and broke them down to verbal format, so you can actually go ahead and listen. Everybody have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend. Smoke on and have a good day.